was at the pavilion out there on the Grammy of you're having to speak out to the throngs.
Well,
number 8 was who?
Number 8 was CM Punk, followed by Bandito and Will Ospreay. That rounds out the top 10.
Okay, and here's the thing is, and Dave has been on a tear about this, writing about it, and it is true, and there's no reason to not write about it. It's just that this is a thing that he's kind of made happen, that CMLL has been on that attendance tear. They drew over 1 million or sold over 1 million tickets in a calendar year that has never happened before in the one building and the whole 9 yards. And Mystico, for the whole that he looks like piss on a plate here, is over there and over with their audience, and you can make a case that he technically was the wrestler of the year in the entire world of wrestling, because his company did a record year of success when even the WWE is bigger than everything, but they didn't do a record fucking year of ticket sales. They just soaked everybody for more money. So point is, Mystico, okay, I can see that. And then Adam Page, number 2, I'm like, okay, not John Cena. The retirement tour where they outgrossed their grossest grosses. Or not Cody Rhodes, who is the champion for the biggest company. Or not CM Punk, who's one guy in the WWE who makes a difference whether he's involved with the belt or not. And it's Adam Page and then Jon Moxley. And then Saya Kamatani. Even if you wanted to swallow the Page and Moxley pills before Cena and Rhodes and Punk, Saya Kamatani.
But again, Saya Kamatani is number 4 with 88 first place votes, and somehow with the
88 people thought that she was the winner of the whole goddamn thing. Just blew the others out of the water.
That's right. 8 thought Will Ospreay, who wrestled until the middle of the year. So I guess of the 8, maybe Will Ospreay's number 1. I don't know. we could wonder who those 8 people were. But let's continue on here, Jim. Most outstanding wrestler. Most outstanding wrestler with 436 first place votes. Konosuke Takeshita with 3,201 total points. Takeshita over Bandito, Kyle Fletcher, Will Ospreay.
Boy, howdy.
Sari. That's 3 E's. That's 3 E's. Jon Moxley, Adam Page, Gunther, Zack Sabre Jr., and Mystico.
Okay, I took a sip so I could swallow some of this.
I do agree Takeshita is an outstanding in-ring wrestler. I can't argue with this.
I can't argue. I wasn't even going to. I wasn't going to argue that right now, but I'll put it on pause and argue it in a minute. But I'll argue Bandito over Kyle, over Ospreay, over Gunther. Bandito is.
It's because of the Takeshita match. That's why.
But every other match he had that stupid fucking suplex and the fucking little happy feet he's got in his basics are shit, and he can't. I'm sorry. If we're going for the greatest hits of the indie-minded AEW crew, which is basically what this is, besides Gunther, Kyle would be on top of that, but of course Gunther would be number 1 of this list in my thought for most outstanding wrestler, because he's actually a goddamn wrestler and he's outstanding.
Well, Jim, let's continue on here. Tag Team of the Year. Although you're not a wrestler, I consider you to be, part of the Midnight Express. So another one that you've won in the past or been a part of in the past. Tag Team of the Year. First place with 272 first place votes. Young Bucks.
What do you know who won the pony?
Now, this is interesting here. They're in first place, 272 first place votes, 2,435 total points. Second place with 2,423 total points, right behind them, but only 250 first place votes. FTR. You look at this list, it's just like every other tag team list. I mean, there's more tag teams listed here. To me, it's the biggest indictment of the state of tag team wrestling when you see this list. There's nothing. There are no classic. I mean, the Hardys are on here, and they have a long history, obviously, but there are no classic tag teams. There's just nothing. FTR and the Bucks are at the top, and then everything in the middle is stuff that may or may not be here tomorrow. Lashley and Shelton, have they teamed in months? When was the last time
apparently Lashley is injured, although now there's non-contact injuries. Samoa Joe, he's either on concussion protocol, or the announcer said he was on the injured list for non-contact injury. How can you get a concussion without contact? The point is, nobody knows, but you're correct. Finish this list, and then let's pick it apart, because it's from here it gets more ridiculous in an even worse way.
Well, Young Bucks 1, FTR 2, Brody King and Bandito, otherwise known as Brodito, in third place, 248 first place votes, followed by Mystico and Mascara Dorada and Neon, followed by Yuto, Ice, and Oscar.
Jesus Christ.
Followed by Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight. Followed by Nathan Frazier and Axiom, the team of Fraxium. Followed by the Hurt Business, Hurt Syndicate, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. Followed by Jackie Kamai and Rita with 2 eyes. Followed by Matt and Jeff Hardy.
Good Lord.
And most of the other honorable mentions are female tag teams. Isn't that interesting? Street Profits are here, but...
Did they... I was going to say, they've been out long enough to have that surgery? Because I thought they were guys.
What do you think of this list?
It's funny at the top because it's obviously the Hardley Boys, the Buckaroos, because that's Dave's pets, and that's still the darling of this particular block of voters that we have here. And then they have to acknowledge FTR, because FTR is the last time they saw a good tag team in AEW, except for the Hurt Syndicate. And really, if you talk about strictly in-ring performance and the potential of what could have been, FTR would outpace Sheldon and Bobby. They were impeccable tag team wrestlers until they lost their minds and were booked into insensibility. They can still outperform the Bucks as far as having a tag team match if they would slow the fuck down and not make everything so complicated that these jackoffs they're working with can't keep up with it, and it just gets into a mess. But they will never mean anything in that company again like they did, because of the way that they've been used for the previous 5 fucking years. And Stokely's a joke. And everything about him is presented as weak, stupid, and funny. And then you go down, and Brody King and Bandito, at least they got them over somewhat because they were new. And then they broke them up. Brody King will do better for it as a single. I think Bandito will be the Action Andretti of 2027 or whatever. And then there's nobody except the poor Hardys that are fucking, well, I won't say 50 because I don't know. They've started so young. But here's the winners from the 80s and 90s. The Freebirds, Steamboat and Youngblood, Road Warriors, Bulldogs, Midnight Express, Eden and Condrey, Midnight Express, Eden and Lane, Michaels and Jannetty, Steiner Brothers, Hollywood Blondes, Pillman and Austin, Williams and Gordy in Japan.
But part of the story with what you're saying, it's not just those teams winning. You know, FTR and the Young Bucks are at the top of this list, and those have been the 2 tag teams that dominate the tag team list for over a decade, especially the Bucks with the Observer readers. But part of the issue is there's no competition. Any of those years you just named, look at 86, Midnight Express, Condrey and Eaton. You guys beat the Bulldogs. You guys beat the Hart Foundation. You guys beat the Road Warriors, the Rock and Roll Express. There were tons of great tag teams everywhere. The Fantastics had a great 86.
Yeah.
There were great tag teams everywhere. You guys beat them out. That's a tough vote. There aren't tag teams. I actually thought Brody King and Bandito would have done a little better or won, just because they did get over pretty big.
Well, what? I just realized, did nobody think of Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed? How long have they been teaming now on the television? Somebody didn't say, oh, these guys, the only actual tag team that wrestles main event guys and wins? And they didn't get an honorable mention over Willow Nightingale and Harley Cameron.
Well, Jim, let's move on here. Promotion of the year with 746 first-place votes, more than double, I believe, of the number two. 5,042 total points for CMLL. CMLL Promotion of the Year. We'll talk about that in a moment. Number two, AEW.
Okay.
With 364 first-place votes, followed by Stardom with 77 first-place votes, followed by a little thing called WWE with 126 first-place votes, actually more than Stardom. Rounding out the list, New Japan, TNA, Sendai Girls, whatever that is.
Send us girls.
Whatever that is. AAA, Dragon Gate, and finally, UFC.
Well, I mean, if UFC is going to be eligible for this category, then did everybody know that? Because how could you? Okay, Sendai Girls is a bigger, better promotion than the UFC. Again, you can make a case that CMLL, because again, they set their all-time record year of business and drew 1 million customers in the same building, plus everything else they did and whatever the fuck. So I'm not going to argue with that. But then AEW, because it has to be, and then Stardom places higher than the WWE. How many do they know that if you ask 100 people on the street what Stardom is, that nobody would fucking know?
Well, Jim, let's see what else the people or the readers know or don't know. And again, Dave put it out there in advance, like he would be embarrassed by his readership if they didn't vote for CMLL, so it happened. And then again, CMLL deserves it. Best weekly television show with 811 first-place votes, AEW Dynamite, 4,655 total points, followed by CMLL Super Viennas, followed by AEW Collision, followed by WWE Raw, WWE SmackDown, WWE NXT, followed by Ring of Honor and Honor Club. So you don't need a TV show to be eligible for Best Weekly TV Show, I guess. Right? I mean, it's a streaming show. Is it technically a TV show? Followed by CMLL, Stabados.
Well, it's only a streaming show because they have their own fucking site.
Followed by CMLL, Martes at Arena Mexico, followed by TNA Impact.
Okay, I mean, was there a none of the above option to vote in this category?
You could just not vote. This is the only way that would work, but that is the television show of the year, Dynamite.
Again, you know, it is what it is a shit show and a slog fest better than a snooze fest and a bore fest? Would you rather be bored, or would you rather see a shit show unfold in front of you? There's not really an option here, and that's what everything has been. I again look at past winners like Mid-South Wrestling, New Japan World Pro Wrestling, the Memphis show won once, All Japan, ECW, WWE Raw. In those various times, I could see that. But now it's like, which sucks the least? So really, it's going to be Dynamite because this audience, that's the kind of thing that they like.
Or at least the voters. Like, we don't know how much.
Well, this audience that's voting.
Jim, Pro Wrestling Match of the Year, with 224 first-place votes, Kenny Omega versus Gabe Kidd, January 5th at the Tokyo Dome. With 1,728 first-place votes, a match in January, one match of the year. That's pretty impressive. Followed by Bandito versus Taguesto, Adam Page versus Moxley, Mystico versus MJF, Adam Page versus Will Ospreay, Saya Kamitani versus Tam Nakano, Mariah May versus Toni Storm,
Oh, blessed.
Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky at WrestleMania, Jon Moxley versus Kyle Fletcher, and finally, Ospreay and Swerve Strickland versus Young Bucks.
Do you know the one match on that list that I actually remember watching? And I know we've seen most of it. It's Gabe Kidd. Look at the fuck that. Look at the state of him. Just look at his appearance. And what the fuck that anybody is going to see in him for the match of the year, I have no idea. With Kenny, but I remember Mystico versus MJF. Because that was special. Otherwise, holy Jesus Christ, what's the matter with these people?
Well, Jim, the Category B Awards, this means it's only first-place votes that get you to the top of the list here. The United States and Canada MVP, Jon Moxley, with 387 votes.
Over who?
Over John Cena, with 273 votes. Followed by Adam Page, right on John Cena's heels with 262.
His family must be heavily involved in the voting block.
Followed by Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, Gunther, and a tie for 7th place between Kyle Fletcher and Mercedes Moné.
So by this logic, Jon Moxley was more important to the business in the United States and Canada than John Cena, and Adam Page was more important than Cody Rhodes. And both Jon Moxley and Adam Page were more important than CM Punk. I rest my case.
Well, sometimes in baseball, the best player on the best team wins MVP. Sometimes it's the best player on the worst team. Sometimes the team is terrible and the one player is so good that even though the team doesn't win because of him, the value is there. So,
but how do two players on the worst team beat two of the players on the best team?
Do you think you could argue, and I'm not saying you can, I'm asking you, that Jon Moxley and Adam Page are more valuable to AEW than Cena or Cody Rhodes are to WWE?
No, you cannot argue that at all, because if Cena was to, well, I can't, now he's gone, but let's say last year, if Cena had disappeared, gone down to injury, been kidnapped, taken away, tied up, held for ransom, whatever, in February, it would have fucked their year up. And it would have taken a lot of big grosses away that we now, in hindsight, can see were big grosses, right? I'm not lying. And who else did you say to take out of the
we by the top 4 here. So Moxley, Cena, Adam Page, Cody.
Yes, if you took Cody out of the last year, it's the same thing that happened to him in February or whatever. Think about how that would have fucked up and impacted major, big grossing events, main events that had been changed, etc. If you took Jon Moxley and Adam Page, either one, out of AEW tomorrow, it would have a negligible, if any, impact on business. Because when's the last time, besides when that was a self-inflicted wound when they fired Punk, but when has their business ever gone down when anybody got hurt and went away. Or just Tony quit booking them and they went away. When has there been a noticeable, oh shit, so-and-so's gone. This didn't do as well as we did last time. Ever?
I can't say you've been off the top of my head.
So, hello, McFly.
All right, well, Jim, let's move on here. We won't go through these, but the Koichi Yoshizawa Award for Japanese MVP, move over Ricky Dozen. But that went to Saya Kamatani with 485 votes. The Mexico MVP, Mystico, ran away with it, 1,019 votes. So obviously a big lucha audience voting here.
Yes, over Bandito was 17 votes in second place.
The Europe MVP, Michael Oku.
You know, Dave could have told him, vote for a turd in a punch bowl, and you'd be reading number one turd in a punch bowl.
Michael Oku, the Europe MVP, the Hodge Award for non-heavyweight MVP, went to Mystico. For non-heavyweight MVP, 551 votes, followed by Darby Allin for 106 votes. Bandito, Mascara Dorada, Mike Bailey, Javon Evans, Ricochet, El Desperado, Dominic Mysterio, and Starlight Kid round out the list. The women's wrestling MVP, fans, there's no question about it. Saya Kamatani had a year for the record books, and she won women's wrestling MVP. 458 first place votes, followed by Toni Storm, Mercedes Moné, Io Sky, Sari, Rhea Ripley, Stephanie Vaquer, Willow Nightingale, Chelsea Green, and a tie for 10th place with 11 votes, Becky Lynch and Liv Morgan.
Becky Lynch and Liv Morgan, who are generating more revenue, being seen by more people in the space of a day or two than this. And Rhea Ripley, who was in the middle of the list somewhere, they each generate more overall business than anybody else on this list does in a year. But Miss Kamatani has that magic spell.
Well, Jim, feud of the year with 504 votes. Adam Page versus Jon Moxley. Feud of the year and Silver Dream feud if there ever was one, except number two, you can say the same thing. 148 votes for Saya Kamatani versus Tam Nakano, followed by Mystico versus MJF, followed by Toni Storm versus Mariah May, CM Punk versus Seth Rollins in fifth place, John Cena versus Cody Rhodes, Kyle Fletcher versus Mark Briscoe, Jon Moxley versus Darby Allin, and finally tied for ninth place with 15 votes. Okada versus Takeshita, and Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre.
You know, if only Rhodes versus McIntyre and Cena versus Rhodes and Punk versus Seth could have held up to the fucking standards set by Saya Kamatani and Dan Nakano. But fortunately, Page and Moxley blew them all away. What?
And by the way, someone sent me the Saya Kamatani-Tam Nakano match. I really need to see it sounds like.
Jim, I'm just wondering if somebody cuts their forehead in a fucking forest, does anybody hear the tree fall on them?
Jim, best box office.
Well, hey, before we go any further, also, I want to go back to the old days. Feuds, angles, programs, fucking how did they, feud of the year. Bruno and Zbyszko, DiBiase and Dog, Freebirds, Von Erichs, Hogan and Orndorff, Midnight Fantastics, Flair and Funk, Hart and Jerry Lawler, Steve Austin and the Hart Foundation, Austin versus McMahon, fucking Jesus H. Christ, David Jericho and Michaels, Punk and Hardy, Cena and Punk. There was not this illusion that these minor league, often unseen people are somehow better than the biggest names in the business.
Well, Jim, we move on to best box office draw, and I believe people were voting for this for a few years, which didn't make sense, because people would go, how did you vote for something that would be a firm fact? John Cena won for pro wrestling, followed by Mystico and Cody Rhodes. I assume Dave just gave them that, right?
You had to acknowledge reality, right? Yeah.
Most improved. This is a heck of a year. I think she won it also for PWI. Harley Cameron, first place, with 208 votes, followed by Kyle Fletcher, Kendall Gray, Marina Shafir, Kevin Knight, Dominic Mysterio, Odo Femi, Defunto, or...
Now, wait a minute. Can we say that on YouTube?
That's the name here. I'm not familiar with Defunto. I'm sure if that's man or female or mass wrestler. I don't know.
Man, female, or person?
Defunto followed by Hina, or Hina. It could be one or the other, followed by Yuto Ice. This list, guys, at some point this list is one off a cliff.
the story here, honorable mention, Braun Breaker.
He had a good year.
And even Javon Evans is an honorable mention down here. I think you have a subset of the hardcore voting block here that has some type of, again, unnatural fixation a la the Twinkle Toes Foundation with Japanese wrestling schoolgirls.
Well, Jim,
well, hold on, I'm just going to say, but first, in all seriousness, most improved, and it's a list of not a who's who, but a who's that, except for Dominic Mysterio flops in the middle, and Braun Breaker gets an honorable mention. And if anybody can't see what the fuck's going on there, I don't know what to tell them.
Most charismatic, Jim, with 159 votes. First place, John Cena. Followed by CM Punk with 133 votes.
Well.
Followed by Tony Storm. Followed by Mystico. Followed by Adam Page, Will Ospreay, MJF, sorry, Saya Kamatani, and then Mark Briscoe and Tanahashi.
Okay, was this another one of those ones that you can't deny the obvious? Cena would run away with that, but Punk there as well, and then they get their favorites. I mean, Tanahashi has charisma. Fucking Adam Page has charisma. Saya, well, we don't know, because we've never heard of her. Previous winners, Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, Shawn Michaels, The Rock, Steve Austin, John Cena, and now, here you go.
All right, well, Jim, the next one here, the Bryan Danielson Award for Best Technical Wrestler. The winner, once again, he won this a whole bunch of times. So there's only like 3 people ever in the running for this ever. So see, people win it over and over and over again. Zack Sabre Jr. with 657 first place votes, followed by Hechicero, Luther, Kyle Fletcher, Konosuke Takeshita, Kyle O'Reilly, Will Ospreay, Zerua, who is finally Ospreay, followed by Bandito, and Chihiro Hashimoto.
Okay, but also, an honorable mention, Ilya Dragunov gets an honorable mention, and Jon Moxley gets an honorable mention for Best Technical Wrestler. I think I just threw up a little in my mouth. Here's another thing, the lead has been buried. Zack Sabre Jr., it's not his real name. He's not the son of Zack Sabre. His name is Luke Eatwell. No wonder he changed it. Good God.
Wait, he's not the skinniest wrestler in existence, and his name's Eatwell?
And Luke Eatwell. It writes itself, folks, but I mean, if you want to look at this list, technically, see what I did there, the best technical wrestler is Gunther, because he's the best example of an actual professional athlete-looking motherfucker that plies a hand-to-hand combat sport skill in the ring to beat up his opponents instead of, if this was best gymnast, best aerialist, floor routine performer. But Gunther's the only one right now that fits the Kyle O'Reilly. I see him. He's on the list. He actually should be on a list like this, but there are no more Billy Robinsons and Tony Charleses and Nelson Royals, but this is just. There's nothing technical about the wrestling most of these guys do, because it's either of the high school cheerleading variety, or it's, like you said, Zack Sabre Jr., who wins every year because he's a human Q-tip looking motherfucker that emulates the Billy Robinsons and the Tony Charleses and the Johnny Saints and the fucking Mark Broncos and etc.
Well, Jen, the other side of the coin, the Bruiser Brody Memorial Award for Best Brawler. 476 votes for Jon Moxley, the winner. He's won it most, he lost it last year to Adam Page, but he won it every other year since 2020.
Would you like to have seen Moxley try to stand toe-to-toe at fucking no-sell or 1-2 exchange with Brody?
I would have loved to have seen Moxley sit in front of Tony Khan or Bruiser Brody and say what he's not going to do in front of Bruiser Brody.
I can't say I'll chip in because it can't possibly happen now, but I would have given a large amount of money for that.
And then sent him out there to be interviewed by Renee. Let's just see what happens. Let's just see how it goes. But Jon Moxley wins, defeating Adam Page, Gabe Kidd, Gunther, Mark Briscoe, Brody King, Darby Allin, Mad Dog Connolly, I'm familiar with them, Tomohiro Ishii.
You got 17 family members.
Followed by one more, Samoa Joe, here on the list for Best Brawler.
Okay. Again, Gunther's not a brawler. He's the furthest thing from a brawler. He's just the only one who looks like he's actually fighting you, so maybe some people are confused. And we got this Moxley and Page business. At Mark Briscoe, that can technically be kind of called his style. But how in the world is he considered the best at anything? And Darby Allin's not brawling, he's being a piñata. There are no... Is it the Terry Gordy, Stan Hansen, Cactus Jack, Mick Foley? Good guy, Kevin Steen now. It look like Brody next to these motherfuckers. Anyway, go ahead.
What's your best flying wrestler? First place with 511 first place votes, Mascara Dorada. Mascara Dorada, followed by Will Ospreay, who wrestled for half the year. Bandito, Commander, forgot about him. Siobhan Evans, Mystico, Kevin Knight, Neon, Io Sky, and Mike Bailey. I'm laughing only because as I'm doing this list, I think there's multiple people I've seen land on their head. This is within like 6 months. But there it is, best flying wrestler.
Let's pull for our boy Siobhan Evans in the future to overcome all this and be the only one doing that shit, so he'll really stand out.
You know, I ended up watching the other day, I think it was Raw. It was him and the original El Grande Americano versus the new American the new Grande Americano.
The new American Condo right down the road from Delray Beach, Florida.
Well, it's against the new guys, and I normally wouldn't watch it, but I kind of wanted to see Siobhan, and boy, he hits the best-looking dropkick in wrestling right now. And he does get high up to do it, and it looks great, and they've got something there, as you said before. Jim, a few more. Most overrated, with 323 votes, Jey Uso. That's most overrated.
Possibly some sting of truth there amidst all the clouds.
Followed by number 2, CM Punk.
Okay, here now we go back to the tribalism of the same people who think that the Buckaroos are the best tag team in the world also.
Hey, you know what? In this very issue of The Observer, because I looked through it earlier, Abe talks about an interview MJF did with Chris Van Vliet, where he talked about a whole bunch of things, because a bunch of people sent me the link. I didn't have a chance to watch it, but it's a long video. And Dave, the only quote that made it into this thing was, here's what he said about CM Punk and how he doesn't like him. And there it is. So, I mean, I think there is a little bit of that. Dave's definitely been an advocate against CM Punk to his readers. But following CM Punk on the list, Jade Cargill.
She's a turncoat.
Evil, who I believe just left New Japan and may have signed with WWE. We'll see what happens there. Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes. Some hope for the future here. Number 7, Jon Moxley.
31 people think for themselves.
Followed by MJF, John Cena, and Solo Sikoa. Honorable mention Logan Paul. How could anyone think he's overrated? He's so good. Also, your favorite.
I was going to say Austin Theory on here, but also they're all over the page here with Brock Lesnar. Had 8 votes for honorable mention for most overrated. But that's the same that Maxine Dupree and Charlotte Flair came in next to each other, so they're all over the page on this category.
Jim, most underrated. 223 votes for Beast Mortos.
Where did he go?
He got his law degree. I haven't seen him since. Beast Mortos, followed by Javon Evans with 78 votes. Commander, Rudy King, Ray Phoenix, Mike Bailey with 25 votes. Bandito, Kevin Knight, and tied for 9th, Chad Gable and L.A. Knight.
I would agree on, I don't consider Javon Evans to be underrated right now. I would agree of everybody on this list of L.A. Knight, who is capable of more, but I think everybody, except the booking team, realizes that. But the rest of some of these people shouldn't be rated.
Jim, Rookie of the Year. Before I list who won, let me just tell you previous winners, so you can see the difference between now and then. 1981, Ty, Brad Armstrong, and Brad Riggins. 82, Steve Williams. 83, Road Warriors. 84, Tom Zink and Kichi Yamada tied. That's Jushin Liger. 85, Jack Victory. Underrated wrestler. 86, Bam Bam Bigelow. 87, Brian Pillman. 88, Gary Albright. 89, Dustin Rhodes. 90, Steve Austin. 91, Mark Mero as Johnny B. Bad. 92, Rey Mysterio Jr. 93, Jun Akiyama. 94, Mikey Whipwreck. The Giant won at 96. Some of the previous winners. Here's this year. Number 1, Seri Yamoka with 117 votes, followed by Senka Akatsuki, followed by Yutani, followed by Zaria, followed by Homer. That is the name. Homer. Followed by Heather by Elegance, followed by Cappuccino Jones, followed by Jacob Austin Young, followed by Shiloh Hill, followed by Callie Armstrong. And I bring now versus then just because it's like the tag teams or anything else. There used to be competition and there used to be a lot of names that you knew on a national level. I'm not trying to take anything away from Seri Yamoka. I've not heard of her. I've not seen her. I'm assuming it's a woman. It doesn't say here if it's a woman. Yes, she wrestled for Marigold. It's a woman. 19 years old. But, again, the difference between now versus then, it's hard to argue wrestling's healthier now, as some people do. Jim, best non-wrestler, 658 votes for Don Callis, beating Paul Heyman with 238 votes.
How in the world, again, people are not being realistic with themselves. It's not even a matter of opinion as to who's doing this at a high level and who's jacking off for some reason just on television. And
look at the list. Number 3, Stokely. Number 4, Renee Paquette. Number 5, Prince Nana. Followed by Adam Pearce, who actually, more than anyone, has really come into his own as a performer more and more, especially lately. So,
well, then if you vote for Pierce, then somebody ought to have voted for Aldous because he's doing a better job at what he's doing than fucking Nana dances around with coffee and Stokely rides around in a wheelchair?
Jim, the Jim Ross Award.
Hey, well, hold on, I just wanted to just make a comment here. Best non-wrestler used to be called Manager of the Year. And you will, again, let's compare. If I would have voted for Paul Heyman to win this, and let's compare the work of anybody else I'm about to mention with Paul Heyman with anybody else on this year's list. 1983, Jimmy Hart. 84, Jim Cornette. 85, Jim Cornette. 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, Jim Cornette. 91, Sherry Martel. I took a year off, and I love Sherry. 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, Jim Cornette. He took a couple years off. 99, 2000, 2001, Vince McMahon. 2002, 3, Heyman. Austin in 4, Heyman in 5, Bischoff in 6, Cornette in 7, Larry Sweetie, bless him, in 2008, 2009. And then after a couple years, Heyman swoops in and runs from 13, 14, 18, 19, 22, 23, 24.
Why isn't this the Jim Cornette Award? You've won this award more times than Ric Flair won Wrestler of the Year or Brody won Best Brawler or anything. Why isn't this the Jim Cornette Award?
Hold on, it might be Heyman. Hold on, let's count this. Where'd Heyman come in? I've got, hold on.
I'll count you.
One.
You count Heyman.
I'm counting me. 13. I got 13.
Heyman's got 11.
So at least it ought to be the Cornette Heyman. I can be fucking Luthez and he can be Ric Flair.
Well, you also won both iterations of the award. He only won Best Non-Wrestler. He never won Best Manager.
Well, that's true also. But still, if it's just a simple change in the name. I blazed the trail, I agree.
Well, let's move on here. Jim Ross Award for Best Television Announcer.
And Jim Ross is not on the list.
With 315 votes. I didn't even notice that. Bryan Danielson wins Best Television Announcer, followed by Walker Stewart, followed by Excalibur, Nigel McGuinness, Michael Cole, Ian Riccaboni, Wade Barrett, Corey Graves, Joe Tessitore, and in 10th place, Tony Schiavone.
I can't even. If I only had time.
Worst television announcer, Booker T. With
On this list.
560 votes.
Jim Ross did not place for the Jim Ross Award that the best announcer is named after because he won it so many times. But these people said all right.
Booker T followed by Pat McAfee, Michael Cole, Vic Joseph. 5th place for Tony Schiavone, Excalibur, Taz, Jim Ross. There's a sense here, J.M. Ross, Wade Barrett, and Corey Graves. The best major wrestling show, Jim, in Arlington, Texas for AEW with 404 votes. Followed by Double or Nothing in Glendale, Arizona. Followed by Stardom, All-Star, Grand Queendom. Followed by AEW Revolution.
Hold on. The point is, I'm looking at this thing. The point is, AEW 1, AEW 2, Stardom 3, AEW 4, 5, WWE, the Elimination Chamber got 25 votes, then AEW CMLL, WWE Evolution. Did we even see that? What was that?
That was the all-female pay-per-view. You did not see that.
Christ. Well, I got 17 votes. And then WrestleMania Night 1 in 10th place for Best Major Wrestling Show. So this is a very skewed or askew audience.
Well, the worst major wrestling show, Jim, WWE WrestlePalooza. Indianapolis, I remember that was awful. Followed by Survivor Series. Followed by WrestleMania Night 2. Followed by GCW, The People versus GCW. It sounds like the people lost that night. WWE Night of Champions, TNA Slammiversary, TNA Bound for Glory, New Japan Dominion, and a tie seemingly between Backlash and, oh, no, it's not a tie at all. That just doesn't have numbers. And SummerSlam Night 1. So worst shows.
And two more WWE shows got honorable mentions. So they pretty much, every month, the WWE show was worst.
Best Wrestling Maneuver, 194 votes for Adam Page, Buckshot Lariat. Followed by the Neon Double Springboard Moonsault, which the last time we saw him knock himself out.
He was kicked out for doing it. Carried the fuck out in front of a goddamn poster on the stage and gave the number for the Mexican fucking orthopedic surgeon.
Well, that's number 2 on the list. Number 3, the Saul Ruka Saul Snatcher. Number 4, the Kyle Fletcher Brainbuster. The Will Ospreay Hidden Blade. Followed by the Braun Breaker Spear, the Mystico La Mystica, Bandito's 21 Plex, Takeshita's Raging Fire, and finally Stephanie Vaquer's Devil's Kiss.
This basically should have been Braun Breaker's Spear and everybody else just stay home.
I would have gone with Stephanie Vaquer. I think that was kind of the move of the year. Of all these moves, which one got over for the first time from a big audience? It's that one. I would go with that one.
Yeah, nobody's seen that? To the point where they were shocked that it was a new thing, or they just liked her bouncing her fucking ass up.
It's a new thing. Most people are used to face down, ass up on the middle of fucking WWE Raw, but let's go.
Oh, that's one of the oldest fucking, goddamn, the midgets used to do that in the 70s. That's one of the oldest fucking spot show moves in the world. Go ahead.
Well, Jim, most disgusting promotional tactic. Always an interesting award. Number 1 with 260 votes. WWE bringing Brock Lesnar back. Followed by the TKO relationship with Saudi Arabia. Followed by the TKO relationship with Donald Trump. Followed by Roger Jackson's incident and the promotion that advertised him on a show.
Well, which that never happened, though.
Followed by CM Punk apologizing to Saudi Arabia. Followed by the TKO ticket prices going up. Followed by WWE counter-programming AEW, WWE moving WrestleMania to Vegas after it announced it for, New Orleans, or wherever they announced it.
Yes.
UFC using whoever this is. And finally, I forgot about this one, Sabu's last match and background.
Look, I mean, this is all over the place, just real quick, because most disgusting promotional tactic, well, it may be disgusting that TKO is in a relationship with Saudi Arabia, and definitely disgusting their relationship with Donald Trump. But that's not a promotional tactic. They are not. The business relationship with Saudi Arabia can't be called a promotional tactic because they're not. They're taking money to do something. They're not doing it because they think it will help them get more over and get a bigger audience or whatever the fuck. That's a promotional tactic. The Raja Jackson incident wasn't a promotional tactic. We covered it at length, but it wasn't like they were trying to draw any money with that. They just all were out of their fucking minds and eventually drunk or just stupid. WWE counter-programming AEW, that's a promotional tactic. WWE moving WrestleMania to Las Vegas wasn't a promotional tactic to draw more, sell more tickets or get more goodwill. It was a goddamn cutthroat business deal to fuck your previous fucking people out of something because you got more money or a better fucking arrangement. See, this is all over the fucking place.
And now they can't sell tickets. And now they're having problems selling tickets, funny enough.
Well, funny enough. And for those prices, funny enough. Because they're in the middle of a desert, funny enough. But more on that later. The only thing on this list that actually did draw money was they brought back Brock Lesnar. And that's what the people call the most disgusting What the fuck? You knew he was coming back. He didn't do anything wrong. Except be emailed to by a fucking perverted old octogenarian with $10 billion and agreed to look at pictures of dubious reviews. Of course they were going to bring him back. But that's not a disgusting promotional tactic. That again is a, if anything, questionable talent relations decision. So basically this is all over the goddamn place.
Jim, worst match of the year. John Cena versus Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, 328 votes. Followed by Minoru Suzuki versus Butterbean. I did not see that. Followed by Brock Lesnar versus John Cena in Indianapolis. That was questionable. Maki Ito versus Mickie James. I forgot about Maki Ito. Adam Copeland versus Jon Moxley. Gunther versus John Cena. Chelsea Green versus Zelina Vega. The Women's War Games. And finally, Cena versus Dominic Mysterio in San Diego. I liked that. That was good. Worst match of the year?
Of course it was, because they're mad that, was that the one that Dominic won or Cena won?
I think Dominic won. Was that the one where Dominic won and Liv came back and turned?
No, because Cena beat Dominic in his hometown because Dominic beat blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Point being, these 18 marks that voted for this shit are just mad that Cena smiled when he tapped out, or mad that fucking Dominic got beat in his hometown. And then, again, Cena and Cody, if it wasn't the greatest match of all time in the ring and it was hyped to be a WrestleMania main event, that might be a disheartening thing, but no, at Brock Lesnar versus Cena, it was disappointing, but that doesn't mean it was the worst match. How many rotten, stinking fucking matches, by anybody's standards, have we seen on these television shows where is that match where the two guys fall off the top rope and one of them fractures his fucking femur and can't walk for 2 years? That was better than John Cena and Cody Rhodes? The fuck? Yeah, Brian, I'm sensing a pattern here in these awards. Is what I'm sensing, a pattern, a habit almost. They're doing it by muscle memory. They're just fixated on these same people, and they're giving them the same awards for the same vote for the same people. It's a habit, and habits are hard to break. Brian, patterns, they can grip a hold of you. They're hard to break. You will agree to this. A habit is hard to break.
That's right. I agree.
And part of the habit is the motions that you go through while you're doing this habit. And now, folks, I'm proud to tell you that we can help people out there improve their health and their outlook on life by breaking a habit like vaping and smoking. Because just like Dusty Rhodes said when all the other boys are in the back laughing and joking, the dream gonna be in the ring, cooking and smoking. Well, a lot of times, a habit, I'm just saying what he used to say. Well, a lot of times, a habit is gonna have people saying, I smell stinky people vaping and smoking. And you can break that because, Brian, think about this. It's a habit of putting your hand to your mouth and sticking something in it. And the Lord knows it's a bad habit and can be unhealthy to stick things in your mouth these days. So you gotta have something to replace this that's not so bad for you. It's so stinky and so, vaping and smoking, it's been proven by Surgeon General Akbar that, you remember Skandor Akbar when he served as Surgeon General?
He's not a Surgeon General. He was, what kind of general was he? I don't know. He was,
well, nevertheless,
independent general.
It was determined by him in his study that vaping and smoking can lead to everything from brain rot to fucking calluses.
That's why I got Ted WC.
That's right, because he had brain rot and calluses. But folks, our friends are friends at home can help you quit vaping and smoking.
Jim, it's pronounced
breaking that hand-to-mouth pattern. It's what now?
It's pronounced fume.
No, I've heard the poem since I was a kid. Fee-fi-fo-fum. I smell somebody vaping and smoking.
But it's pronounced fume. It's fume, not
Oh, I thought that they were making a little smiley face with the U, but that's an umlaut over the U, isn't it?
It's like Hagen-Dazs or
You remember our friend Kloon. Kloon over in the Netherlands.
That's right. He's one of the other people.
Yeah. So, this is Fume. And Fume, ladies and gentlemen, is a flavored air device designed to help people quit vaping and smoking by breaking the hand-to-mouth pattern. No nicotine, no batteries, no vapor, just a weighted, twisty, fidget-friendly tool that gives your hands something to reach for. They sent me one right here. I got this right here. What you do is you stick this in your face, and that satisfies the hand-to-mouth motion and the oral fixation. And then it replaces your bad, nasty habit with a flavored air device that gives your hands and mouth something to do, distracting your cravings without nicotine, vapor, or batteries. So you can suck on flavors like black licorice and raspberry and cinnamon hearts and crisp mint and I thought that said crapberry. Cranberry, that's what I said. Orange, vanilla, peach blush, maple pepper. I'm not sure about that one. I think I'm going to have to see if I can pour some goddamn maple syrup on that first. But nevertheless, Brian, it's a way for you to break bad habits and replace them with a harmless habit that will break that old pattern and interrupt that old muscle memory. Because when you interrupt your muscle memory, then your muscle forgets to do the thing that it did before, and then it does the new thing. Well, that's science.
That's not, again, I don't know if that's exactly how science works, but again, a lot of people, like you said, a lot of listeners can use a little help to break the habit. And we have
that's exactly what they're going to get, a little help. But you can also save a little money, because when you grab a Journey Pack over at TryFume, TryFum, there's no umlaut on our typewriter, so it's just tryfum.com. When you grab a Journey Pack, you're also going to get a free gift just for using our code over here, JC. They have already helped over 700,000 people take steps toward better habits. And now it's your turn. So once again, a free gift with a Journey Pack, which has the fidgeter thingy and the air flavoring thingies, and it's flavored. And imagine, for heaven's sake, how fresh and tasty will your breath smell when you're sucking on raspberry and crisp mint instead of nicotine and cancer-causing devices. And a free gift. And plus, Brian, you can use this thing as a self-defense device. Because if you carry it in your hand...
Come on, I was laughing at the other thing when you threw me for a loop with this one. But you can't use it as a device to...
Yes, you can. Instead of sticking it in your mouth and sucking on it, you can poke somebody in the eye with...
Right, that's where we stop. That's exactly the kind of thing...
you around the neck.
That's exactly the kind of thing the sponsors may not embrace or endorse, but what they can tell you is that for those of you who need a little bit of help, you need to break the habit, you've tried other things, you're ready for the new thing, Fume, our new friend, you'll be hearing more about them, and of course, it's just so much fun to say. Fume.
Yes.
Jim, how can the listeners get in on this great Fume deal?
TryFume. TryFume, TryFum.com, not to be confused with Kloon. TryFume.com. Use the code JC. Claim your free gift when you grab that Journey Pack. And they call it a Journey Pack because you can take this wherever you go. And again, once again, if you're in a bad neighborhood, somebody comes up behind you to poke them in the eye with this thing. Just clean it off before you stick it back in your mouth.
If it's self-defense, this may be valuable, but let's not start problems and let's not provocate.
If this was, I'm provocating. If this was on the news, on television, did somebody say some poor woman, Bonnie Rosecutter of East Elyria, Ohio, was saved by poking her assailant in the eye with the flavored air fidgeter from food.
Fume.
It was fume. Well, but she's got an accent too. She's from Switzerland.
No matter who you are, it's fume, ladies and gentlemen. It's worldwide, and we're telling you about it right here. Jim, one more time here today. How can the listeners get this?
And then no more. Go tryfume.com.
That's right, Coco Code. It's tryfume.com, Jim. The excitement is contagious.
The code is Tennessee to claim your free gift.
That's right, and what a gift it is. Tryfume.com. Promo code JCE. But Jim, it's your show, but if you don't mind, let's get back to
it. Continue on.
The Observer Awards. Yeah, there's more. Worst feud of the year. The winner with 176 votes.
Is it spelled F-U-D?
Worst feud of the year. And it really must have been a stinker to win from that fan base. Max Caster versus Anthony Bowens.
Wow. Poor fellas.
Which didn't even take place on Dynamite, really, right? It was all
I don't know that it took place.
Followed by Cena versus Cody Rhodes.
Okay.
Followed by Moxley versus Cope. Followed by TNA versus NXT. Followed by Cody versus Cena and The Rock and Travis Scott.
Now, there may be something to that. It's not a feud, but just any time that they can award it the worst something.
Here's one you forgot about. Followed by Jeff Jarrett versus MJF. That did not click.
Considering what else they've done with MJF since then, I'd have liked to have seen it.
Followed by Cena versus CM Punk, which was one of the better actual Cena feuds of this past year.
Yeah.
Followed by Aleister Black versus Damian Priest. No complaints. Followed by Cena versus Brock Lesnar. It made no sense. I didn't see that one on the list. Followed by Charlotte versus Tiffany Stratton. The famous Kaiser's in my DMs feud. Jim, worst promotion of the year. The winner,
please.
The winner with 420 votes, WWE. Followed by the NWA, 129 votes.
You know what? 40 years ago, they always used to tie 1 and 2, NWA and WWF. WWF and NWA. Now they are just for the worst promotion.
Followed by TNA, GCW, AAA, which of course is under WWE rule, at number 5. 5 for 6 with 19 votes each, Juggalo Championship Wrestling and MLW.
Voice actor. Of course I repeat the scene.
Man, my name's RJ.
Because I do deserve a vacation. Sometimes Batman's got to take off his cape. Because I do deserve it.
We've all had this experience, right? As readers, we have been so deep into a book that somebody had to call our name 3 times before we even realized they were talking to us. Why were...
I'm not a Snyder, and I never will be.
Fine, if you want to cut ties, don't bother coming back.
Don't worry. I won't be coming back. I once had the sweetest life I could ever have. You gave me all I could ask for, and now I will give my life back to you. That's all I have left. If I could choose again, may we never be fed.
With Earth's decay, we must find a new planet to secure humanity's survival. We need to send a vote.
You, followed by Women of Wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling 9th and 10th on the worst promotion of the year list with 17 votes, AEW.
Oh, maybe fucking Owens and Caster's families wrote in on that.
It's crazy. NWA came in second, and looking here, they won the last 2 years or the previous 2 years, and I mean, I don't think there's that much of an audience. Like, I don't hear anything about what's going on there to the point where it would win the worst promotion. Well, who knows?
Well, at the same time, I don't remember hearing anything in the last 2 years that would have won it best promotion. I don't remember hearing anything. But go back and again look at this logic that the WWE in these people's minds is the absolute worst promotion of the year over Juggalo Championship Wrestling or Garbage Championship Wrestling or whatever the fuck they're doing over in MLW these days.
Jim, Best Booker. With 655 votes, the winner, Tony Khan. Best Booker. I'll read a little bit of what Dave had to say about this. Followed by number 2. To Hiro Okada. At number 3, the CMLL booking team, Rivera and Feliciano. I love their last record. Followed by number 4, Paul Levesque. Number 5, Anthony Douglas, James Darnell, and John Blood of Deadlock Pro.
I don't even know what the fuck that might be.
And that is the end of that list there. And list.
And so there's five bookers or booking team combinations in the entire world of wrestling now, apparently.
Again, this is another one of those awards that you previously won, and you were standing amongst giants when you won it. Literally, Giant Baba, Dusty Rhodes. In terms of girth, Paul Heyman.
Oh, thank you, Testy.
It's about 6:15 p.m. on Tuesday, January 13th. This post is for ICE agents. Do you guys not understand that this administration, Donald Trump...
You are banned for life. Gambling.
I always bet on myself. Like a waitress works for tips.
Forget the cameras are here.
But I've been working on my gym from the office, look.
No. Don't zoom in.
Reggie Jenkins' premiere event, Monday on NBC and Peacock.
You are banned for life.
Have an autistic child, apply for Social Security across all the United States, apply for IHSS, which is only in some states, so that way you can stay home and get paid, be a paid parent caregiver, apply for the grants, apply for medical equipment.
Okay, so it has been a...
Please, just make sure you ship it to Dr. Chloe when you're gone.
Gone? Timothy, where are you going?
Do they actually care if I'm gone?
Yeah, he really will fake anything for attention. Isn't it only your dumb little tricks?
Here's everything I did today.
How dare you? You have stolen my dreams, my childhood, with your empty words. How dare you?
How was your weekend?
Not long enough. Let me tell you that.
No coffee.
This, Jen, is the internet. That's right.
This is the internet. The whole internet.
I asked for a loan of it so that you could use it in your speech.
It's so small.
That's one of the surprising things about it.
Hang on. It doesn't have any wires or anything.
It's wireless.
Everything's wireless nowadays, isn't it? So I can really use it in my speech. What if someone needs it?
Oh, no. People will still be able to go online and everything. It'll still work.
Oh, good.
tell you, you present this to the shareholders and you'll get quite a response.
What's that? It's so light.
Of course it is, Jen. The internet doesn't weigh anything.
Of course it doesn't.
What is Jen doing with the internet?
So I could use it for my speech.
You insane?
No.
No, Jen. No, this needs to go straight back to Big Ben.
It's on top of Big Ben. That's where you get the best reception.
Thomas, anything happened to it?
No, Jen, I'm sorry, but the elders of the internet would never stand for.
I spoke to the elders of the internet not 1 hour ago. I told them about Jen winning Employee of the Month, and they were so impressed that they wanted to do whatever they could to help.
Wait a minute. The elders of the internet. The elders of the internet know who I am. You stopped it.
No, Jen, I'm sorry, it's just too risky.
Please, Roy.
Well, Mark, has it been completely demagnetized?
By Stephen Hawking himself. He sent his congratulations, by the way.
Well, if it's okay with the Hawk,
Can I have it?
you can.
Don't forget your speech.
Oh, thank you.
Slowly.